In today's gospel, we hear that when Jesus' parents had done everything that the law of the Lord prescribed, they returned to Galilee, their city of Nazareth, where the child grew up and became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favor of God was upon him. In this first passage, Luke describes the ceremonies every Jewish boy is expected to undergo. The first is circumcision on the 8th day. Another is the purification of the mother after childbirth. This is the last event recorded in Jesus' childhood, interrupted only by the report on the loss of the 12-year-old Jesus. The Holy Scriptures are silent from now on for almost 30 years of Jesus' life. We would, however, be wrong in assuming that the hidden life of Jesus was a waste of time. No, quite the contrary. Anyone who hears or reads of the life of Jesus and reflects upon it will realize that the silence of the evangelists in particular can say a lot about this hidden life. The 30 years in which he increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and men were no less important than the time of his public ministry. God's favor rested on his beloved Son, as was made known at his baptism in the Jordan by a voice from heaven. "You are my own dear Son. I am pleased with you." It preceded all the words and miracles with which Jesus astonished the world. Many years before the Father transfigured his only begotten Son on Mount Tabor, the hidden life of Jesus in Nazareth found his favor. It becomes clear how important it is that a lot of things in life initially take place in secret. Like everything in nature, everything in our life needs space and peace to mature. That is a reality that applies to each and every one of us and in our own families. St. John Paul II reminds us that the family is the basic cell of society. It is the cradle of life and love, the place in which the individual is born and grows. The glittering Christmas tree and the old carols ringing out around the crib or on the TV will remind you of the unforgettable story of Mary and Joseph, journeying because of an emperor's whim through the difficult mountain country to Bethlehem. Bethlehem, the city of David, was a crowded, busy place at that time of the year, with people from all over the country hurrying to have themselves written down in the census. The couple could not find lodging for the night. There was no place in the inn. There was no place in the inn for them. Joseph must have been at his wits' end, but there was no help for it. Lonely and forgotten, they wandered forlornly among the crowds. Thus began the story of our own salvation, our salvation that was dearly bought, not only on Calvary, but also in Bethlehem. The song of the angels, the goodness of the shepherds, and the faith of the wise men should never cause us to forget the tragedy that comes down to us in the Christmas story. The tragedy of closed doors and hearts, the scandal of loveless inhospitality and of the stable in which the Lord was born. And now appears to Joseph in a dream the angel of the Lord and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother with you, and escape into Egypt, and stay there until I tell you, because Herod intends to search for the child and do away with him." The children of the entire village are slain on account of their baby, and Joseph and Mary, forced to flee suddenly, head over heels into the street to the frontier late in the night, fleeing, hear the cry and lament of the women of Bethlehem. Why? Why is the all-powerful silent? Why doesn't he kill Herod? Carlo Caretto, in his Letters from the Desert, responds to this persistent question when at times of desperation, fear, and distress, we only see darkness. The point is, he says, it is necessary to live by faith. It is necessary to live by faith. Flee into Egypt, become exiles and refugees, let cruelty and injustice triumph, and so it will be until the end of time. Think about it. Jesus, Mary and Joseph were the first persecuted people of the Christian era, the forerunners of the multitudes who up to the present day have had to share their fate. Look, for instance, at Christianity in Iraq, which dates back nearly 2,000 years. The Archbishop of Erbil, the Right Reverend Bashar Warda, said, "Christianity in Iraq is one of the oldest churches, if not the oldest church in the world, that is dangerously close to extinction. Those of us who remain must be ready to face martyrdom." Aramaic, the language spoken by Jesus, is still spoken by some of the country's Assyrian communities and surrounding towns on the Nineveh plain. This was the heartland of Christianity in Iraq and home to a host of liturgical traditions, ancient monasteries and churches. The world may soon witness the permanent displacement of an ancient religion and an ancient people. And to quote Carlo Caretto once more, God didn't soften the path of those whom he put beside his Son. He asked of them, have faith, pure and uncompromising, that only two souls could live up to this demand. What an adventure, to live for 30 years in a house where God lived in the flesh of an earthly man, to eat with him, listen to him speak, see him sleep, see the sweat on his brow, and on his hands the calluses of weariness and work. And all this quite simply as something normal and everyday, so normal that absolutely nobody will unveil the mystery or realize that the carpenter's son is the Son of God, the Word made flesh, the new Adam, heaven and earth. My God, what great faith! Mary and Joseph, you it is who are masters of faith, perfect examples to inspire us, correct our course, and support our weakness. We are not a family because we are a good match. We didn't choose our parents. We didn't choose our children from a catalog. We didn't get together as a family because we are so close to each other. But the other way around, because we are a family, we belong together. Sympathy or a tender feeling make it easier for us to love one another. But what God lets us know goes deeper. I wanted you as a family. Stay in my love. Christmas is more than a family festival with a Christmas tree, candlelight, tinsel and turkey on the table. It is Christ's coming into the cold, dark, pandemic-afflicted, unredeemed world. Certainly, at Christmas we may celebrate the incarnation of God with all the joy of redeemed men and women. There can be no objection to preparing a festive meal. However, we should not forget what is essential, that Christ wants to become man again in his holy church and in each one of us, so that in us his form, his goodness, his mercy, his love for us all, and his helpfulness may shine out in the darkness of this age. There is no better place to accomplish this than in our families. That too is the clear message of the 30 hidden years, that God has accepted us and our lives, that he has accepted us as his children. Because he loves us, my dear sisters and brothers, like his own son, so that we can say to one another, my dear sisters and brothers. Amen.